There was a few ways to start this video. Biden blindsided. Panic overnight is an absolutely brutal attack. Leaves Joe's future in critical condition. Or I could have used one of my favorite lyrics. This is the end. My only friend, the end. Now, many of you may be thinking it's about this report. It's about what this report caused, because overnight an attack occurred so devastating that it is now putting Biden's very future in question. We know now Biden will not face charges over classified papers, says his memory is fine, but there is a reason. A nightmare. Special counsel's assessment of Biden's mental fitness triggers Democratic panic. And that panic led to a catastrophic event. The event we're about to cover for you here today. My name is Justice Knight, today filling in for Lisa Haven. Can't thank you enough for being here, and I need you to do me a huge favor. Click on the link above. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you haven't subscribed to Lisa's channel, check below. Again, make sure you still are, and if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Can't tell you the amount of news we bring to you on this platform, at our own platform, being Restricted Republic. Hope you're there. Two discount codes right now, two amazing discount codes, RR4 and RR39. One gets you $4 a month for 3 years, plus 14 days for free. The other one gets you $39 a year for 3 years, plus 14 days for free. Get there today. It's where Lisa and I are putting some information that you will not find anywhere else. No commercials, no interruptions, no sponsors. And I need you there today because we are about to take a whole new level on that platform, continuing to provide information that will change the very course of your future thinking. And it's information no longer allowed anywhere else. That is restrictedrepublic.com. And now, let's get back with this broadcast. It's a nightmare, said a Democratic House member who asked to speak anonymously to provide a frank assessment, adding that it would weaken President Biden electorally, and Donald Trump would be a disaster and authoritarian. For Democrats, we're in a grim situation. And if you believe that the Democrats will do anything in their power to stop Donald J. Trump, then you have to follow this argument through. What makes you think, after what occurred over the last 48 hours, that there will be any other outcome other than a replacement candidate for Biden? It was easy to follow. If you followed us long enough, you know you can track mainstream media through their arguments to see what they're all about. I put up this video yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to see it, depending on where you're at, there'll be a link above, or just look for the tab. It will give you all the background of all the misstatements, of the blow-up of Biden, everything that occurred leading to this moment. This is beyond devastating, said another Democratic operative, speaking on condition of anonymity to talk candidly about Biden's shortcomings. It confirms every doubt, every concern that voters have. If the only reason they didn't charge him is because he's too old to be charged, then how can he be president of the United States? Not a Republican speaking, a Democrat speaking. These articles are absolutely destructive. It shows you that the proverbial tide has now turned. You can't hide from what happened. Asked if Her's report changes the calculus for Democrats who expect Biden to be the party's nominee, this person said, "How the F does it not?" Another Biden ally called it the worst day of his presidency. And out came the onslaught. Newsweek publishing this article. Joe Biden's re-election odds plunge after brutal council report. Notably, Donald Trump's odds of winning in November increased only slightly after the report came out. However, by contrast, the odds of other potential Democratic presidential contenders improved after Her's report. with former Lady Michelle Obama going from 13-1 to 11-1, and California Governor Gavin Newsom shifting from 25-1 to 17-1. And why do you think that's happening? Follow the mainstream media headlines. The ones who don't normally tilt right will tell you everything. This on Slate: will Joe Biden suffer politically? From the Justice Department special counsel saying his brain doesn't work. Their article, not mine. Spiritually, this is the first major news cycle, the article went on, the state of 2024 general election, in that it is the first time the Democrats have engaged in this kind of mass spiraling about being doomed because of this or that news event that characterized the 2020 race. And let the onslaught begin. Let the attack begin. Going forward, this could also set Biden up to stride easily over a low bar. If undecided voters are primed to expect someone who is literally senile, and then see him mixing up a name or two, but otherwise describing most issues coherently, then they'll go for Biden. Literally, that was published in Slate, but it gets so much worse. This on the New York Times. And why do I do this? Why are we following mainstream media? Don't believe mainstream media. No, we watch mainstream media for the messaging that they're putting out because they are controlling the pulse of what's about to happen. They're the front people putting out the telegraph message for you to watch once you learn how to interpret it, which is what we're doing here. My memory is fine, a defiant Biden declares after special counsel report. In a hurriedly arranged nighttime televised appearance at the White House, a defiant Mr. Biden offered a feisty defense of his actions and his capacity to run the country, an effort to quell concerns that could hurt his chance for re-election. However, they go on. Mr. Biden used his nighttime appearance to respond directly to the report. He said Mr. Hur's conclusion that he willfully retained documents was misleading and just plain wrong. It's hard to see how this helped Biden's political case. Several Democratic operatives have sent panic texts about how the press conference went. Maggie Haberman of the New York Times, right underneath the article, demolishing the Biden camp entirely, but it doesn't stop there. Politico: age isn't just a number, it's a profound and growing problem for Biden. The new blunders detailed in the special counsel's report have sparked fresh concern about the president's mental fitness. Coming from Politico: moving forward, the nation, Biden can no longer avoid questions about his fitness for a second term. NBC News: Biden's age and fitness topped the list of voters' concerns. The newest NBC News poll, just before all this occurred, showed that 76% of voters, their primary concern was about Biden's age. And then you had what happened. That's why I wrote on Hur's report, there is a reason for everything, isn't there? The question is not if Biden should step aside, it's how. If you've been watching the dates, February 9th, February 10th, February 9th, February 10th, this is just all hitting right now. You're just ahead of the curve, as always. The question is not if Biden should step aside, it's how. That published on the New York Times. Brilliant, if you ask me. Oops, sorry about that. What would happen if Joe Biden stood down? How the race to be the Democratic Party nominee would unfold. And there is a plan. I'm about to get there for you. Battenfield: after damning DOJ report, time for excuses for Joe Biden is over. And it's almost like they knew this, wasn't it? Just a few days before the disaster, Biden is skipping a Super Bowl interview. His advisors say it's part of the plan. However, questions now circle. Either he doesn't have anything to say, or his team is worried about what he might say, or how he'd say it, said a veteran Democratic campaign operative. My friends, have you seen the tide of everything now absolutely shift? When you see this many mainstream news sources coming out, we're not done yet, by the way, because the real killer report's coming out in a second here, then something has now been agreed to. How could you not come to that conclusion? He can't survive what happened. How is he to go through any debate? Is he going to avoid every single debate possible? Maybe. Maybe that's the plan, but this information is too plentiful. And why do I state that? Because things that have never happened just happen. CNN just fact-checked Biden.
All the stuff that was in my home was in filing cabinets that were either locked or able to be locked.
Daniel?
Just not true, John.
Down goes Biden. Down goes Biden. When you have CNN turn on you, you have a major issue, and that is exactly what they just did. All the indicators are there now. Now Daily Mail comes out. Democrat insiders say it's now panic time and parties should dump Joe Biden, 81 years old, at its summer convention with Gavin Newsom waiting in the wings after Justice Department said president has diminished faculties. Democrat insiders say it's now panic time. It's time to pull the nuclear option. And it's being considered to remove the 81-year-old president as the Democratic nominee at the party's convention in Chicago in August. Will they wait that long? Who's on their docket as potential replacements? Names you're very familiar with. Gavin Newsom, of course, Michelle Obama, and Gretchen Whitmer. Boy, isn't this country in for a big shock. We telegraphed this weeks ago, told you this was coming, told you that there would be a major event that they would use as an excuse, and lo and behold, we have the report released and we have the disastrous press conference immediately after. I think it's now panic time. Biden should not be our standard bearer, a former senior Democrat White House official who worked with Biden told DailyMail.com. He looked like a deer stuck in headlights last night. There isn't enough gas in the tank for another 4.5 years. Ultimately, we're going to see more and more prominent Democrats saying the quiet part out loud. It's increasingly clear we have a deeply flawed candidate. Democracy is in the balance, and this is not a smart path for our party. You think they stopped there? Not even close. The plug has been pulled. The tank is emptying. It's game over. At one point in a rambling press conference at the White House, he misidentified the president of Egypt as the president of Mexico. I think there was a lot of aspirin consumed at the White House. They're trying to put the toothpaste back in the bottle, but once it's out. The former official said, this has brought into public view what was acknowledged privately. It now sits starkly in black and white in a report from the Justice Department. This is not a partisan hit job. No, because the Department of Justice is the one who did it. Merrick Garland put her in charge. Then, subsequently, this report is released. However, conveniently, there's no charges filed. But that wasn't to be the damage done by the report, in my humble opinion. No, the damage to be done in the report is exactly what I've been reading to you. Democrats saying, we can't hide from this anymore. We're talking about an extremely dangerous time in the world, and if Biden, is having these memory lapses while events are changing by the second, we've had 2 instances in the last week where he brought dead European leaders back to life. We're probably going to get to the convention and have to solve this if Biden hasn't already stepped aside by then, the former Democrat official said. At this point, this is the optimal outcome for how we can change horses mid-race and get on board with someone who doesn't have the fragility. The former official said Newsom, Whitmer, and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker had shown strength against Donald Trump's MAGA movement. These folks are waiting in the wings. What they need is that the air cover to start showing signs that they are able to step in. Meanwhile, remembering, they just called it the worst day of Biden's presidency. A nightmare and a grim situation, calling for the nuclear option. It's over. He got blindsided by his own party, who is now in an absolute panic, leaving Joe in critical condition because his candidacy is now on life support. They've already telegraphed their plans. Cindy Adams, I read this to you many, many weeks ago. Michelle Obama may already be working on a 2024 White House bid. Gavin Newsom running that shadow campaign. Or else, why would Newsom be debating Ron DeSantis? Did that appear unusual to anyone? Almost as if it was a precursor to what was to come. It wasn't if, it was when Biden would make the fatal mistake that would end his candidacy. And my friends, based on what I just read to you and reviewed with you, those were mainstream media sources, Democrat operatives, all hightailing it the opposite away from Biden. It is not if, it is when he will be replaced. There is no way that they can allow him to go against Trump mano a mano. And they know that. This is the end. My only friend, the end for Biden and his presidential run. Now, before we close, I have a huge favor to ask of you. I need you to go to lisahavengold.com right now. lisahavengold.com. To look at the banks, you'd think there was nothing wrong. But look under a hood and it's a mess. Everyone's getting itchy feet. Commercial property, car loans, credit cards are at all-time highs. What chance is it for a 3% return? Get Noble Gold Investments on your side so even if the banks crash again, you'll be okay. They'll talk to you about keeping safe with precious metals. Their experts are waiting now. And what are they going to offer you in return? This free quarter-ounce gold standard coin if you qualify. That's right, all qualified accounts. This quarter-ounce gold standard coin, a free gift to you. Act now before it's gone, before it's too late. Get to lisahavengold.com. Again, that is lisahavengold.com, lisahavengold.com. We love you all. Can't thank you enough for being here today. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.